Hey, I'm Johnny Palmer, and in 2021, I bought that, which is my Boeing 727 airliner private jet. It was done as a hobby initially, but then it turned into quite a good business, so I thought I should do a second one. And in this series, I'm going to talk you through the whole process of installing ground force at Skyline Park, the engineering, the technical challenges, the planning, and hopefully at the end, the big launch of the whole thing being made available to the public. Like and subscribe and follow this channel to learn about this journey with me. Today is a big day. It's the day that the first floor goes on to ground force. So the last couple of months, it doesn't look like there's been much activity happening, but over there in the yard, we've been cutting and welding and painting, putting windows in, making doors so that we can suddenly get this floor in quickly. So in about an hour, our truck turns up with a crane in the back of it to build up the first floor. But before it gets there, let me show you where we're at already. In the last video, you might have seen me talking about the foundations. Foundations are what's go underneath the ground. In the case of this, it's screw piles, it's ring beams, it's rebar, and it's concrete. That's a massive cost in the job, but unfortunately, you can't see any of it. But it has given us a foundation for these other containers to sit on top. Now, if you look closely here, you'll see that these big beams that we're calling the longitudinal beams span from the north tower to the south tower, but the south tower's got these extra columns on it, the vertical bits of metal. That's because the ground's on a slope. So working on a hill, we had to get a flat level for the next floor to go on. So that's why these south tower ones are lower down with an extra bit of column. And what's going to happen soon is that container behind me is going to get lifted on top of the longitudinal beams. Before we do that, I want to show you what the view is going to be like from up there when it's finished. Come this way. This container here is basically dedicated to nothing but the staircase from the ground floor on street level up to the first floor. And this is the bit we're going to be building today. So come on through. First up, this is the most secure part of the whole thing. It's going to keep the people out that we don't want in here. So we've built these massive steel frame doors, all made from upcycled mezzanines from retail applications on some very, very big, heavy hinges. Now, I don't know you, but I like a big, heavy, strong door that takes no force to push. So using ball bearing hinges and heavily greased bearings, we can move these doors very easily. They feel light, but they're going to weigh probably about 200 kilos each when they're done. So come on upstairs. This is our stairs leading up to what will be the first floor very soon. Like a lot of the materials in this project, we've got them from commercial applications upcycled. So these were in a very large retail environment, not much more than 6 months ago. We've bought them, checked them over, refurbed them and installed them in here. So if we come up here, when the first floor's in, this will all be a decked area. There'll be another staircase just up here in the container going straight up onto the second floor. And where I'm standing here now, there'll be a door there going into the next container, which will be an office. A handrail across there and a handrail across there. And if you take a look out there, you can see across the skyline of Bristol through the Avon Valley with the Clifton Suspension Bridge in the distance if you crane your neck and squint a little bit. Quite a few people have questioned why we're building such an elaborate and admittedly expensive and complicated structure in an industrial area. Here's the thing. What we're building here, you couldn't build this in a traditionally nice part of town or in a picturesque landscape. With industrial estates, the aesthetic standard is so low because no one really cares what things look like. It gives an opportunity to build unusual things without being too offensive or inappropriate to the environment. So the fact that this is an industrial space makes it a perfect place to build admittedly slightly weird stuff like this. And I believe that cities like our city of Bristol, we need interesting, iconic structures to inspire people to do big things themselves and to attract tourism, and maybe even make structures like this an iconic piece of architecture the world over that people want to come and visit. And I'm very proud to be part of that journey. So we've now got the first floor of the North Tower up, which is a massive jump forward. I was worried it might be a bit edgy today, but we did all the really hard stuff with the foundations and the ground floor. Now that's all level and straight and lined up perfectly. It's been relatively easy to put the first floor on. Also, it helped a lot. The first floor was pre-built in the yard, so everything was interlocking perfectly and aligned. So when it goes in, straight in position, locks in, clamped, done. The next big step will be getting the first floor of the south tower in position, then the structural steel work for the floor of the second floor, then the modules for the second floor. And that's when it goes from being pretty big to being absolutely epic.
Hi, I'm Ashley from Bristol Crane Hire and Transport, and today we're at Skyline Park and we're putting up the second floor. Today the most challenging part has been this 40 foot. My truck bed's only 24 foot, but we've managed to get it on and get it up. It's about 4 tons. And these other two 20 foots. The second 20 foot was quite challenging because they've welded more RSJs across the top to take the third floor. Every time he's asked me to come here, everything's been ready. I've never had an issue. He texts me on WhatsApp and says, Ash, can you get here at this time? And I say, yeah, no problem. I'm here, and everything's always straightforward. Everybody's helpful. Sam the welder, he's always up on top helping chain everything on, and everything just goes smoothly. We've had no hiccups or anything.
The main focus for ground force is obviously the aeroplane on the top, but the bit that's actually exciting me more is the sky sauna. So I'd love to show this to you in its current form on the ground in the yard of Skyline Park. Come on through. So like every aspect of ground force, this is based around an ISO shipping container. These are the things that go around on the back of ships to move goods and services around the world. They also happen to be wildly strong, readily available, standard size, and reasonably cost effective, although not as cost effective as we thought they would be. And that is what the sauna here is made out of. So what we've done is we're using the original ISO container doors. We've got spray foam on the inside. The reason we're using that is you get less condensation build up on the metal because there is no airspace between the insulation and the metal. So that reduces the condensation, but keeps the heat inside the sauna. Now, if you come up through here, that's our tech cupboard, because although it's just a sauna, there's a lot of lighting control, audio control, power distribution, switching, humidity control, and temperature control. That's all going in this cupboard here. And coming through to here, this is our reception space. What we've got in here is a crushed ice machine, which for anyone who knows Aufguss, which is a guided sauna with scent and music and meditation, you need crushed ice to put your oils on. So you make ice balls here in the crushed ice machine and put them on the stones. In front of me here, we've got a table where we're probably gonna have a coffee machine, because for me at least, espresso in a sauna is awesome. So coffee's a big part of it. On the side here, we're gonna have the oil racks and then a small sink for washing up and washing hands and so on. And then when we come inside the sauna here, it gets even more interesting. Okay, so this sauna is designed for Aufguss, guided sauna ceremony, music, scent, meditation, breath work, as well as social time. So it's quite a big sauna, good for 10 to maybe 12 people. But the big point about this one is how high up in the sky it is. We're gonna be sitting about 12 meters in the air. It may well be the highest point in Bristol, looking out over the Avon Valley with the Clifton Suspension Bridge in the distance. Amazing view, and above us the aeroplane. So inside the sauna, we've got a really good sound system going in, a double 12-inch sub from Martin Audio. Then we've got some EV top boxes for our mid frequencies and high frequencies. So it's a really high quality, very powerful, but not necessarily loud sound system. And then our lighting control system here, which allows us to dim the lights based on the kind of mood we want to create inside the sauna. Then also we've built in some taps down on the floor here, because when you're filling up your water bucket for the Lolu, for the stones, you don't really want to be leaving the sauna. So I put some taps down on the floor here. Also, that means we can rinse the floor quite easily and squidgy the floor off very quickly and efficiently. So between sauna rounds, you can keep the sauna absolutely immaculate for each of your guests. One particularly unusual feature in this one is the inbuilt drainage system in the floor. We've done inset drains so that we can spray the floor and squidge the water straight into the drains, as well as across the door here, so we don't get any puddles of water going outside. The idea here is to keep the place really clean and dry at all times, so every guest that comes feels like it's the first session of the day. Overall, an absolutely beautiful sauna, amazing insulation, fantastic carpentry. And as a Gussmeister, I'm super excited to be working inside this thing very soon. That was quite a long day, but we've built the entire first floor. In normal traditional construction, that would not happen in a day. But again, with this one, it's all about modular fabrication in the yard, and then we get to put things in place. And in one day, we've got most of the first floor done. So it's pretty gratifying. Quite like it. Stay tuned for the next episode where hopefully we're putting the second floor in.